We have journeyed through Advent and we find ourselves here on this Christmas Eve. And I'm really pleased that each one of you have found your way to this place to add your energy and your spirit to this Christmas Eve service. And that includes the splendid people on Zoom. Hello. You always wave, you're brilliant. It's great to see you. We never know how the connection goes out and how we are connected on this special evening. So my name is Karen Dale, and I am fortunate enough to be in ministry with Richmond Hill United Church, and it's my first Christmas with this congregation. So it's very special and very exciting for me. So what better way to really get into the service than to sing a carol? We're going to begin with "O Come All Ye Faithful." And if you're looking in Voices United 60, we're just singing verse 1, 3, and 4. All right, let's sing. This is a joyous evening, and I think that there's a difference between joy and feeling happy. There's a nuance to joy that can encompass the pain and hurts of life, because that's what life is all about. It never is just happy. It is a whole spiral of different experiences. And so it is with sadness that I share with you that Daphne Jackson died this morning. And so, along with Jackie and Zoe, we know that that family, including Daphne, are held in light and prayer, that they are nurtured by God's love. And so it is with that kind of tenacious hope that we light our Advent candles again. So I'm going to invite Jack and Julie to come forward. And if you have been participating in our Advent worship, you know we've had some challenges with lighting the candles. Do you think this is big enough? Yeah? Okay. Let's see if this one works. No pressure, Jack. Okay. If you just hold it for a minute on that side, that's great. So candles are a wonderful sign. They are a wonderful, hopeful, joyful sign that the light of God is coming and is in the world. And what does that light bring us? Well, it brings us hope and peace. So Jack is going to light 2 of the candles. You got it. And the lights also brings us that deep joy. And love. And so this light of new life blazes in the darkness, and the darkness cannot put it out. It shines into the shadows as we remember that for thousands of years, First Nations people have walked this land, and the relationship with the land is at the center of their lives and their spirituality. And so tonight we acknowledge that they continue to cry out for justice. And so we need much light as we possibly can through that baby that was born in poverty, yet is wrapped in love. And so we light our Christ candle. Beautiful. Thank you. And we are going to sing another carol, and these are adapted words, so please don't look for it in the hymn book. You need to use the words that are on the screen. Sometimes this carol, "'Twas in the Moon of Winter Time," is known as the Huron Carol. And that is for those of us that are white settlers. It might sound perfectly fine, but in actual fact, those people are the Wendat, not the Huron. So there are so many ways that our ignorance can cause hurt and pain. And so there have been adaptations of the words of this beautiful carol, and we're going to share one of them this evening. They were adapted from words by Bev Lewis. So think about that journey that we are on with our Indigenous brothers and sisters and that for me as a white settler, I need to be humble and know that there is a lot of learning that I need to do. But let's sing this carol together. 'Twas in the moon of wintertime. So as we've just heard, the gifts of Christmas are very, very special. Hope, peace, love, and joy. And these are the gifts of the story of the birth of Jesus, and you're not going to find them magnificently wrapped and placed under a shining tree. You'll find these gifts in ancient stories. You'll find them in well-loved carols, even ones that have been paraphrased. And they tell of that special birth. But perhaps where we find these gifts most poignantly is in each one of us, in our hearts and in our lived experience. So let us hear about that Christ child as the choir sing for us Christ's Lullaby by Mary Louise Bringle. Beautiful, thank you. So Diana and myself, okay, I'm just making sure that you're awake. Maybe you've had some wonderful food and just feeling a little bit mellow. All right, so Diana and myself are going to share some words and we're going to alternate. And Diana's going to be sharing the ancient story and I'm going to be riffing off that a bit.
Joseph went from the town Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to the town of Bethlehem. He went to be registered with Mary, to whom he was engaged and who was expecting a child. While they were there, Mary gave birth to her firstborn son, wrapped him in bands of cloth and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn.
If we really pay attention to those few sentences, this part of the story, you might be forgiven for thinking, well, that's sort of hopeless. We've got a pregnant, unmarried teenager, a very reluctant father, and they are making an arduous journey, not by choice, but by imperial command. So where does hope come? What is it that hope grows out of? Hope in this story isn't because it's a picture-perfect family. Because we have to take off our rose-tinted glasses, don't we? We have to not imagine this story as a picture on a Christmas card, serene and rustically beautiful, because most births are not like that. Hope comes because a young, frightened, homeless couple, against all the odds, were still together. We're still supporting each other. We're still there for their child. Hope is coming out of courage and tenacity. It is blooming out of love. Love for the birth of their child. And it's not until this child grows older that we really understand the full force of that love.
In that region, there were shepherds in the fields, keeping watch over their flocks by night. Then an angel of the Lord stood before them, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid, for see, I am bringing you good news of great joy for all people. To you is born this day a Savior, who is the Messiah, the Lord. This will be a sign. You will find the child wrapped in bands of cloth and lying in a manger."
I don't think we can really appreciate joy-filled moments unless we know what it is like to feel pain and loss or rejection in some form or another. Joy would be meaningless or at least unremarkable without experiencing that shadow side of pain. So what do we have in this part of the story? We've got shepherds. Shepherds, poor, smelly, looked down upon by society. Shepherds were not the crème de la crème. They were considered the lowest of the low. Yet it is the shepherds that are the first to hear about this life-changing birth. And who tells them? Angels, no less. The gift of joy, I think, in this part of the story is that this is for all people. This birth, that can change things is for everybody. It doesn't matter who we are. And it even includes those rough, downtrodden shepherds that can receive this good news and go and tell people about it. So let us sing about it right now. Let us sing a part of the story about angels we have heard on high.
And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest heaven, and on earth peace." The shepherds said to one another, "Let us go to Bethlehem and see now this thing that has taken place."
When we have the courage to hope against hope, hope that gives birth to love and joy, but love and joy that is experienced by all people, no one being left out, then we might be ready to begin the hard work of peacemaking. It takes every single one of us as a global community, I believe, to choose to take care of each other beyond those people that we know and love, beyond our family, beyond our friends, beyond our neighbors and communities that we feel comfortable in. We need to stretch ourselves so much further than that. We need to seek justice. And that means we need to be courageous enough to speak truth to power, whatever that means for each one of us. And it means seeing a little baby in all of us that are vulnerable. And we are all vulnerable at some time or another. But there are those of us who are suffering huge vulnerability. We need to choose to make a difference, and it is a choice. And amid that hard work of peacemaking, let us not forget that gift of joy that doesn't come from worldly goods, even if they are quite fabulous and given by wise ones that have traveled a long, long way, but are from a child who grew up to be a person who turned over tables of greed and who loves the outcast in every single one of us. So as we get ready to give of ourselves, as we give our offerings in a moment or two, let us think about these offerings as being symbols of what we can give to the world, symbols of our love for all people. And yes, that will help the ministry of Richmond Hill United Church. But I know that you all give widely in many, many ways, and there is a ripple effect to that giving. So that child in a manger, infant of Mary, a fragile child in a frightening world, while shepherds watched with wonder. An innocent child in a hostile world, while wise ones traveled from afar, bringing gifts. A rejected child in a very dangerous world, where some were brave enough to come and kneel and offer themselves. So in these moments, let us offer to God the gifts that we have as a way of saying thank you for that greatest gift of all, Jesus. So as we stand to sing our offertory hymn, O Little Town of Bethlehem, the offering plates will be passed, and it is your choice. You can just pass it along to the next person. That is cool. Your presence in this place is a gift tonight. So let us sing, O Little Town of Bethlehem. Thank you. Thanks, Laura. Can you push that down? And now the choir are going to share again. They're going to sing an anthem, Baby Boy. Baby Boy, so weak and little. And this is by Barry Peters. Thank you. Often when I stand in this place, I am talking about inviting to the table. And we are going to be sharing in this special meal in a different way. And hopefully you will have received a lovingly packaged rice cracker and grape, gluten-free and all of that. If you do not have the elements, the ushers are looking out for you. If you could signal them, and they will make sure that everybody has what they need. But this table is symbolic of community. And it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter where you are sitting at home on Zoom, or where you are in this sanctuary, or who knows, maybe there will be people that will be watching and listening to this, not on Christmas Eve, but some other time. All are part of this table, because this is God's table. This is not the church's table or mine or anybody else's. This is a place where we can connect and reconnect with that holy mystery. So in this birthing moment, between the preparation and the celebration, heaven's membrane begins to tear just a little, and eternity silently spills in. And we meet you, O God, in a tiny baby. At God's table, we remember the broken earth, ravaged and plundered by greed, yet still so achingly beautiful. We think about the powerful and the powerless that are trapped, both trapped in this cycle of exploitation and oppression. The ignored and the influential. For on this holy evening of evenings, we seek to sing Mary's song. Seek to sing that song of justice that was lived out by her son, Jesus, where the poor are raised and the rich are brought low, and everyone has enough. And so in this spirit-filled moment of bread and wine, in this moment between prophecy and promise, heaven slips in and waits for each one of us. And through the birth of this vulnerable child, in the breaking and the spilling, in the rending and the flowing, in the splashing and the pouring out, God is with us. So we lift up sustenance, we lift up bread, and we pour out juice, we pour out blessings in abundance. And so please take a moment now to share that little package, share that food as we commit to living peace as Jesus has taught us, as we taste the juice of the grape, as we kneel at this manger of love. May we be nurtured by the food that we have eaten that is symbolic of that love. And may we also nurture the earth by recycling or reusing these wonderful little sachets. Thank you, Anne. So, have you finished chewing? Could you hear me chewing? I'm thinking, gosh, everybody can hear me chewing because the mic's still on. You know, there are holy moments and there are ordinary moments, and God is in every single one of them. So let us sing together, Silent Nights. it's not over. It's not over, this birthing. There's always, always new skies into which God can throw stars. God will be born again into a place that none of us can imagine, and we probably won't believe it. Let us watch with our hearts. Let us listen always for the song of angels. And in this moment, go with thanks and go in peace. And I wish you all a wonderful, and if it's merry, a Merry Christmas.